I don't know who needs to hear this. It's you. It's you. Underpainting goes underneath. The underpainting makeup technique goes underneath. Yeah, that's how it becomes underpainting. All right, let's get into it. So underpainting, it's making its way back into the general population of popularity. And I thought that I would hop on. Just hop on really quickly and let's talk about underpainting and what it is, because the girlies are running. They're running wild with it, and that's fine. When it comes to me, I always believe that you should understand the why behind the things that we do, which will then allow you to determine how you want to do it and if you want to do it. Okay, so I actually ordered the new underpainting kit from pro makeup artist Mary Phillips. I wanted to use it for this video and also talk obviously about it a little bit. Mary made, I would say, underpainting mainstream with the clients that she was working on and the behind the scenes pictures and stuff that we've seen. She heavily relies on underpainting techniques within her makeup applications. To say that she created it, and I don't think she said it, but you know, that's just when things go viral and everyone wants to start giving credit to things. But underpainting is actually a technique adapted from fine art by makeup artists. Underpainting is a fine art technique where they add, sometimes it's orange, sometimes it's brown, I think sometimes it's even blue, layers of color in different shapes and dimensions. That's the first color that is placed on their canvas. Like if it's a painting of a building, so it would be within the shape of the building with a negative space in between it. It's not just like a solid color, because then when they add the true colors that they want, that's how you get that dimension and different light values. So when you look at a painting and it almost looks like a photograph, the way the light is showing, the way the shadows look, the way the tones look rich, all of that comes from an underpainting technique that you don't see because it's underneath. If you ask any makeup artist, we all do underpainting, right? We all do underpainting, and we definitely can thank Mary and of course Kevin upon. I have Kevin's Making Faces book here that I want to show. We've all seen this picture, and we have all seen one of our favorite beauty content creators do this. Yeah? Because it's like, oh, this is what you're supposed to do. But this is an exaggeration, and he actually even said it, written somewhere right here, right? I was like, y'all read your books? But it's an exaggeration. It's an illustration of placement and color values, but it's underneath. Because that's the part that's killing me. Everybody's just leaving it on top, and it's just like, I'm done. And I'm like, put your shadow and a light in a building. Just put it inside of something. Anyway, I got Mary's palette, which I'm so excited to use, and I did get her brush. So we're gonna underpaint. We're gonna underpaint today, and let me get this brush open. Okay, so this is a double-sided brush. Mary's pro tip, we love a pro tip. Use a small brush end to contour nose and lips. Okay, will do, Mary. Okay, so this is the brush. My palette, I got medium, and it feels really nice. Pleasant surprise, the photos online, I thought that the squares were much smaller. The product photography is also super high in contrast and much darker, because to me, this in real life looks like the photo of the light palette, and it almost made me get it, but I was like, that doesn't make any sense. So I just got the medium. So keep that in mind. The product photos are more contrasted and more saturation than the actual product. This looks great for sure, because when we hold it up to my complexion, these are all values and tones that we're seeing in my complexion. So we can definitely get some sculpting happening there. First, what I'm going to do is some color correction, and I think I'm just gonna follow the order of the colors, you know? Since that's the first one that you put here, I'm gonna assume Mary says to correct first. And that would be like a salmony type color. So I'm gonna go in with the small N, and I'm just going straight into the palette. And you know, the first place that we're gonna go is under eyes. So basically with doing correcting as our first step, what we're doing is kind of perfecting our canvas first, because color correcting is going to neutralize things like hyperpigmentation, dark spots, shadows, dark circles, like I'm doing right here. And it is doing a decent job. I will say it is coming out a little lighter. I do have here my medium corrector from Charlotte Tilbury, and then the medium here, which is this one right here. And looking at the two together, it is the Mary Phillips corrector. It is slightly lighter than the medium, so I think I may need to do a little more color correcting later on. We'll see. I am layering a little bit more first to see what that's looking like. So as I said, we're neutralizing the obvious, let's just call it flaws, okay? Neutralizing the obvious flaws that bother me, that bug me. Put my hair up. Do I look crazy? Yes. I don't think that's any better. I don't think that's it's worse. What? Why are you doing this to me? I didn't feel like looking crazy today. Okay, you know who never let me down? A headband. All right, as we were. We have some dark spots right here. Now, I'm sure you've already seen this is not a quick and dirty situation, depending on what your goals are and what things are looking like. I'm not overly blending. The color is kind of melting in nicely. All right, so this is my correcting stage. So technically I have a smooth canvas, not perfected canvas, and we're now ready to go in with sculpting and shaping. And you can do that based on like what your vibe is. If you want to try and go maybe a little bit more traditional, go based on your face shape. I have an oblong face, so I don't do much sculpting because it tends to look very harsh, you know, because it's still, you know, like I could go Cruella de Vil real easy, like real easy with a sneeze. All right, so I try to mostly soften my features, but for science, for the purposes of this video, I will sculpt myself to my discomfort. And the other thing too is also, if you find that sometimes contouring, bronzing, highlighting, all of that looks harsh on you, looks unblended, like you struggle with that, then underpainting is also another thing that you can do, because again, it's going underneath. So I'm gonna go into the second shade right here. And we're gonna start bringing forth light to where I usually do. Bridge of the nose for me, not here. It's gonna make the bottom of my nose look bigger. A little bit on the brow bone. I may actually go back over this with the second Actually, no, this is fine. I like to put some of that here in the center of the eyes. And basically what you're going to be doing is, as I said, where you would normally put your bronzers, your highlight, your contour, you would put everything in that same placement and direction. We're just kind of doing it a little bit in reverse. I'm going to highlight this area to help handle the sculpting that's about to happen. I don't like any light there, so I will put right above here. Not too high up for me because that, I think that shapes the lip in a weird way. And then the second color, no, third, sorry, which is this one, I am going to see what that looks like on the skin. Okay, so this looks very close to my skin tone, what I would do as a foundation. So I am going to put this around the sides of my nose to help correct some of that redness that's there. Now, this is a multi-use palette, right? So you can use it as a concealer. You can use it as a foundation. You can do it over your eyes if you'd like. I'll go ahead and do that. But again, if you want to specifically try underpainting as a technique, you know, it will need to go underneath something. It can't just sit on top. All right, let's start shading. So this color is the more cool toned. Yes, the more cool toned. So I'm gonna switch to the bigger side and we're gonna put that into my shadowy places, which is here, like so. Woo! No sculpting. But it isn't gonna look that crazy when we're done. And it's definitely shadowy, but it has a teensy, I'm switching to the smaller brush, a teensy bit of warmth on it, which is fine because it's like sometimes, you know, like you do want shadows, but then if you go really like true cool, then you just look dead because our shadows are underneath our skin. So there's still like, our skin still gives it this little color on top of it. So that's why it's nice when you have cool tone contours that have a little drop of life into it. And this definitely has that. Just in the crease, we're going to do more of the darker shade over the eye too, because I like doing that with bronzer. Let's sculpt the lip a little bit too. So this is kind of like building in liner. Like the temples would be, struggling. The temples would be the next place, but again, because I'm so oblong to like knock this in, I'm just gonna, oh, let's do the darker shade, which has more warmth. Let's do that. And let's switch to that. So back to the big brush, and we're going to put this one. Now, something that you also have to kind of adjust when doing underpainting is that it does kind of need to sit thicker. Like you need to see it, right? So that the painting stripes is for a reason, right? But I'm going to hold up the Kevyn Aucoin when I'm done before I put my foundation on, so that you can still see the difference between, okay, clearly it's some stripes going on here, and then how much of an exaggeration his editor, because it's an editorial illustration, right? To show you kind of placement and just be dramatic, because it's, you know, it's a book. Because I'm even telling myself that as I'm going along, because I am automatically inclined to blend. So you want to make sure you get, because this is ghetto. Don't let me see you walking around like that, because I'll. Get it, get in there. Get in there, because it will stay like this. And y'all, that's why you need to wash your makeup brushes. I'm going all up in my hair scalp. You see what that's looking like? I'm actually gonna switch to the smaller brush to help me get through these. Okay, you see how that looks? This side, and we didn't do, well, this side wasn't as bad, but we still have to do more. We still have to do more on this side. I really like the formula. I say it all the time. I love a makeup artist brand. I love a makeup artist brand because it's just always gonna be what it needs to be. I like this warmth. I like this little burnish that we have happening. So I am going to put this where I do my bronzer, above my contour. I bet y'all never thought you would see me like this. And I also bet half of you are like, yeah, no, I'm not doing all of that. I'm not doing all of that. And you don't need to. But, and I say this in my community all the time, like when we try new trends and stuff like that, I always say it's worth trying. Like, try it and see, because you never know. And even if it's not something that you use every day, you know you have something in your back pocket that you can pull out at a moment's notice whenever you need. Okay, I'm going to do this a little bit just to get more coming out with my cheek, again, because of that oblong, right? So you see how we're a little lifted versus this side. So just to push things up a bit so I'm not dragged down too much. And I'm gonna use the third shade, let me show you, that matches my skin. This one. I'm counting from, because we started at correcting, right? So I'm counting, oh, this looks like a good cover. Hold on. Okay, YouTube thumbnail. Okay, so we're counting from one. Okay, color correct is 1. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so third shade from the top. All right, the one that is kind of like my foundation shade. So I'm gonna cut this a little bit still. And I am using skin tone shade instead of like the lighter color, because I find sometimes that little cut that is done, it looks ashy. Like it looks like you need to lotion your skin a little bit, you know? And we can't have that. All right, and then I did want to take a little bit of, oh, I should have taken this smaller side. Take the smaller brush and we'll just pull that out. My biggest advice when doing anything is to do step 1, step 1, step 2, step 2. Like if you're doing an eyeshadow look and you're going to use blue eyeshadow, so you put the blue eyeshadow on the other side. Like take it, because you're going to remember that movement that you just made on that side and do it here, and that helps with your symmetry as opposed to like completing one eye. I mean, sometimes that happens because you're also just like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So if you complete one eye and then do the other, you may struggle with symmetry a little bit more. But yeah, this looks good. This side was done the right way, for sure. Let me put that, what color did we use up there? I think it was the second one. So let's put that back because that's important too. That's going to be really nice when we get our foundation over that. Now, if you were on social media, you would think our next step is to put some setting spray over this and blend, but no, we're not going to do that. So I'm going to just soften some of the edges. I'm not over blending because we're going to let the foundation do most of that work, but we're also not scrubbing the foundation over it. So boop on the edges, same on the nose, just boop on the edges, boop boop on the lip, around this side here. Now for foundation, and let's see how our underpainting looks underneath our foundation. Now I pulled some of my babies, some of my favorites, and I think I'm gonna go, something is telling me it's a Luminous silk kind of moment. Something is telling me that, and I've got 2 pumps. You see that kind of runny texture, so that's what I want to go for. And brush, I'm glitching between these two. Okay, I'm gonna go with the SEPHORA Pro. It is slightly less denser than the other one because I don't want to have anything too harsh to move what we already have. So just picking up our foundation. See, most of that drip is still kind of up there. I'm just working on a little piece down here, and I'm pulling from that and I'm working it through the bristles of the brush so that when we go and we start tapping through, we're not having a patchy appearance. See? All right. So you see how much softer this is than here, because this is where we were, and then just layering the foundation on top is going to do 90% of the blending, so you don't have to like over blur and over blend. And you do want to make sure you're keeping your pigment concentrated, because then you want a little something to show through, right? You want a little something to show through. But the idea is not that your contour, bronzer, etc. is sitting on the surface of your skin. It's coming from within. So that is what we are working towards. Now usually this 2 pump would have done my whole face, but as I'm stippling and layering does make it go a little heavier. That's why it's a movement that you see us make over things like dark spots and stuff like that. Let's do half a pump for the forehead. Then just tapping what's on my brush over my eyes to bring everything together. And I am going to tap a little bit under my eyes because we did do color correction, and I may just use that 3rd color as concealer. It's still not bad. How does it look to you guys? The under eyes. honestly, looking in my mirror, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. All right, let's powder and finish up the makeup look and see what our final makeup looks like. For powder, we have makeup by Mario. I'm going to take a little puff, work it in, and I'm going to press this under and over. Okay, brush brows. Okay. Brows. So what do you guys think? Comment and let me know before I go into finishing up. I mean, I would still add warmth and color, of course, in the form of bronzer. I wouldn't do any more contouring, but I see myself sculpted. I do see a difference in my nose. I see my eyes, you know, I see right between here. And again, it doesn't look like I've placed those things on top. So this still gives you a clean canvas, sculpted canvas, to then play with your colors. So let me do that really quickly and then come back. All right, so this is my final look and how everything came together with our underpainting technique. I will say I added a tiny bit of bronzer over the top, the teensiest bit, just to add some of that color on top, not necessarily for sculpting purposes. I do feel nice and snatched. The cheek is okay, and the nose I think is also very streamlined. I didn't add anything further to it. I just left it as the end result of the underpainting technique. I think maybe if I were to do anything right now as I sit right here and we're supposed to be wrapping things up, is add a little bit of highlight. A little bit of highlight right there. And I did have some fun with the eyes. I tried out a new product and I'm obsessed. And I will link all of the products in the description if you want to see more details on what my eyeshadow look is. I will link it where I never remember if it's right or left, okay? But it's gonna be up here. One of those, so you can check out and see what this eye looked like. And it was so easy. It was literally 1, 2, bam, bam, and it's all the drop, all the impact, and we love it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this tutorial helpful, and comment and let me know if you have tried, will try this underpainting technique. If you're thinking of picking up Mary's new palette, which by the way, you don't need to, you really can do this if you have your cream contours already, a cream bronzer. It's definitely better with cream products as opposed to liquids and powders. It just wouldn't work. So if you have you know, a cream concealer that's brighter, one close to your complexion, of course your cream corrector, and if you have a cream contour bronzer already in your collection, because let's not play and act like we don't have things that just sit there. Okay, and then if you do, I encourage you to reach for those and just play, put this video on and just play real chill, no pressure, and just see how you like it and see how it works for you. And then if it's something that you're constantly doing and you're constantly loving, then eventually you can definitely invest in a palette, because just having everything in one place always makes things nicer. But you definitely can do this with products that you already have, because trust me, I know all of what you have in that drawer. next to those dirty brushes, but I digress. Don't forget to hit subscribe, like, comment, share. I think there's this new YouTube thing that I saw that said hyping small creators. So if you see anything that says hype, go ahead and hype us up over here at Witchsage Beauty on YouTube. So thanks again for watching, and as always, I hope this helps.